Getting better at skating banks are easy. Let me explain why. And why they're hard for you, or they may be hard for you to learn. A lot of skaters approach getting better at skating banks and many other obstacles by doing their hardest tricks and testing that out first. What I want you to do with banks is get super comfortable just popping your board, right? Snapping, doing ollies, 180s, tricks you're very comfortable with. And if you can't ollie yet, just doing something like lifting the front truck. Doing something as simple as that, or you can stay here, or even this, going fakie. And tapping the tail, lifting the nose, and going, doing that in opposite directions are very helpful so that your body, is experiencing that awareness, and it's not so intimidating once you go for tricks like, more difficult tricks contextual to your, to your skill level. So for me, doing a tray flip on this bank is a bit intimidating. Much of that comes from the fact that I do not skate anything this steep most of the time. And so if I came to this park and I wanted to get better at skating this bank, or any bank for that matter, it's simply being able to warm up with it with the most basic of maneuvers on it. So that means before I even pop, do I feel comfortable going backside, front side? Do I feel comfortable kick turning with a more sharp approach? Is my weight transferring confidently, or is it a bit hesitant? And depending on those answers, you can then move on or continue to stay on those those warm-up tricks, so that you are going at your pace, not at the pace that you see your friends going, not at the pace that you think you should be at, but the pace that you the pace that you are at that in that day, right, in the present. So right now I feel okay with front side, back side. I'm gonna do little ollies. Obviously I already did a kick flip. I'm gonna end this video with a tray flip, but on this bank. But what you want to understand so that you can really improve with skating banks is knowing where your weight should be when you're going up and back down, right? Let's say I'm just doing a regular ollie on this bank. On the way up, my weight should be centered over this left foot. As I go for the ollie and then am rolling back, landing, rolling away, my weight should be coming from the left, going to the right, right? And a big way you can do this without much tension or applying so much force is by just opening up to the direction you're going. So if I'm going towards the bank in my regular stance, I'm gonna be opened up with my chest slightly facing the obstacle. My foot slipped out. And on the way down, my chest slightly facing the direction I'm rolling away from. Let me do it again. Alright, you see me open up? The eyesight, it's not just the body, but it's a lot of the eyesight, right? I say the body because a lot of people still hesitate to turn their full body, and what they do is something like this, where and they look back, kind of going under their shoulder, like if they're trying to what is it called, the Philly shell?
Yeah,
like if they're trying to do the Philly shell to the roll away. That's not what you want to do. You want to be confident in transferring the weight. So the way you do that is opening up to the direction you're going. So this changes depending on what trick you're doing. For example, if I do a front 180, I should be opened up over the left when I approach, and then as I roll away, because I'm coming back down on that same leg or foot, my body is still opened up over this left side, right? So for an ollie, it's left and then right, and then for a 180, it's left and then I come back down, left. You're gonna see that here. Opened up, opened up. You see me opening up. It's very fluid, And what you need to focus on that point, it's just getting a good snap. And as long as you're transferring the weight, rolling and even popping is going to be super effective. Because let's say, you know, you're approaching the bank with a simple ollie, but you're leaned over that back foot because you're hesitant to really commit to going up there. You're not really going to get an efficient pop, and it's going to sound very flat. So it might sound something like this. Right? That was me with trying not to fall, but also making sure I'm over that right side so you can hear, well, hopefully you guys can hear what I mean by a flat pop. I'm gonna try to pop a little higher while still being on that back leg, which is something we don't want because we're going towards the obstacle, right? We need to be centered over that lead foot, something I mentioned a lot. See, so well, I'm not sure if you can see from that angle, but in those, with that approach, it's a very rocketed ollie, and it feels very, how would I say this? It feels very uncomfortable on the way down because you don't want to put too much weight where you basically trip yourself on the way down to the bank or as you go down, right? You don't want to be doing that. And so what I see a lot of skaters doing so that they avoid tripping but still stay on the back foot is they pop on their back foot, and then as soon as they land, they go to the opposite direction they need to be at. So instead of staying centered over the leg that is towards the direction they're going, they go to the back so that they can, you know, I guess feel comfortable slipping back. But that's not what you want to do, right? You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that from the roll in to the roll away, you're centered over that lead foot. Now, another trick, for example, if you're doing a big spin, it's still a 180 variation. So it's going to be where you're centered over the left as a regular skater, right? This changes if you're goofy. And then when you land, you're still landing and staying centered over this left side as you go for the spin, right? As soon as I went for it, I was like, wait, why did I try this trick? I got scared. Okay, point is, you want to make sure your weight is centered over the right direction. The right foot, because otherwise it's gonna feel so much more uncomfortable popping and doing any trick that you are doing any other trick you want to, you know, progress to, right? The mistake I see people do is as soon as they get to a bank, they know they can ollie, they know they can 180, but they're not very solid and they look very flat, right? They look like this. They're just not getting a good snap. They don't really have control, or you may not really have control of those tricks. And so I urge you to have control at your most basic tricks on this obstacle on a bank before you go trying the hardest or the most difficult trick you have on flat ground, right? You know, I'm very capable of doing a trick like, let's say, a double tray flip on this bank, but it doesn't mean I should actually just go for it as soon as I get here, right? There's no need to challenge myself to that right away. Let me get warmed up to the obstacle, let me get comfortable on it, and then once I feel comfortable, trying to double tray makes so much more sense, and it's just more intuitively approachable, right? Like what I mean by that is you're not having to analyze, you know, am I centered over that lead foot, or am I opening up to the direction I'm going? It's just an intuitive response that you have because you've already warmed up to it and have checked those boxes off. So that's a video on, oh, I said I was gonna do a tray flip, huh? Yeah. I did. Oof. I'm glad I remembered. Keep me accountable, guys. If I forget to do something, then keep me on my word. But what I was gonna say is, hopefully you can apply this to a bank. It doesn't have to be this steep. It can be something very mellow or even shorter. Please go at your own pace. Do not look at others so that you can determine where you need to practice this, or even in general practice of the tricks. Look at your where you're at you know, where you're at, your skill level, and then go from there.
Comparison
What comparison? Yeah, no comparison.
is a thief
Oh, of what? Say it.
of joy. You don't
Oh, I
know?
forget. Comparison is the thief of joy. So, actually, I just did a video. I think I'm gonna post it before. Is if you're having more bad days than good days, that can also be a reason. You're comparing yourself to other friends that might be progressing more than you, and you're just you're just comparing yourself. When in reality, you don't know. You don't know what's fueling that progression. Is it because they're putting more hours in? Is it because they might have a better equipment? Whatever it is, and regardless of what it is, you shouldn't look to compare or even imitate them. You need to move on based off of your own situation. Having said that, I'm gonna try flip. Comment how many tries you think I'm gonna get it on. How many tries do you think, Brian?
4.
Honestly, I don't want to do this more than one time, so.
Oh, that looks super easy.
Yeah, I was pretty confident on it. But because I already warmed up to it, and I was like, I'm gonna do a video on this, so let me. And I haven't done any tray flips.
Today?
No, I'm saying like on a bank.
Oh.
But anyways.
Oh, you haven't done it today then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't done any.
Yeah.
But comparison is the thief of joy, and if you want to improve on an obstacle, in this case a bank, base your progression and where you need to, and what your goals may be, out of your own
Feeling,
your own experience, and that present day. Okay. Peace out. Have a great day.